Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If that is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, I hope, almost lost that one. I hope everybody is doing well and getting through these first weeks of winter. If you're watching this during the beginning of winter anyways, you might be far in the future and coming back to look at these videos. I don't know. But right now we're in the first couple weeks of winter, and we just got through this big storm in the U.S. So we're all kind of just worn out, I think, from that. And I'm just going to take a spin here, kind of look at what we have in this bowl here. I'm already seeing that this looks like it's possibly going to be a love reading. I have a nice heart here, but I also have a heart here. And I'm sorry, I got some lipstick on the... Usually I try not to wear any kind of like coloring on my lips before I do a reading because of this. But that did not work out today, obviously. Okay, so I have a heart here and I have a heart here. It looks like you have a lot of love on your mind, a lot of love in your life. The way that this one is formed so densely, and it is reaching from the mundane world up here into the higher consciousness, the spiritual, the metaphysical, from the micro to the macro, all the way stretching up. So this is a really deep, enduring, and possibly, and sometimes it could, sometimes it's not always super intense, but I think that there's the energy of intensity going on, not burn bright and fast and then kind of burn out kind of intensity, but the intensity of a relationship that goes through the many seasons that relationships do, where you grow together and then, things wax, they wane. And then, there's the renewal of intensity. And a lot of that usually is because of the things going on in our life, right? It's not always it's not an indication of the quality of the love, but just the circumstances of our life and the things going on. So then there's this other heart, and I want to kind of see some more of this cup to see what is going on. I see the two hearts, which is interesting because we also have the Two of Wands today. So this is the card of dominion and kind of just the most fiery energy that you will get. So this is the beginning of creation. This is things coming together so that we can begin to rule over our own dominion, our own processes, whatever kinds of projects, whatever kinds of, spiritual, physical, emotional feats that you are beginning or have begun. This is a great card that is an indicator that you have gathered your energies and resources to begin that journey and to really put all of yourself into it. So I bring this up because I see these two hearts and I think, are these two loves? Is this the new phase of a love that is already existing? is this a romantic love even? I don't know. It could be family. It could be a love of a child, love of self. But then I also see this little one here. So I think that it's just really an abundance of love. And I have a feeling that there is a main romantic partner, but there is also this other love going on in your life. And I don't think that that is romantic. I think I feel like this is more of a family based kind of love. And it's strong, it's intense as well. It's not as large, but that doesn't mean that it's not as important, right? This is you, you know, you can't compare loves to each other, first of all, but because they're different kinds. But I think that just in general, you are a very loving person. The more I look at this cup, the more I'm seeing symbols of love going on. I'm also seeing up here this beautiful bird. It reminds me of kind of like a blue heron kind of bird, maybe something like a stork. Whatever it is, it reminds me of a bird that is very stoic. A bird kind of, if you'll go on this little visualization with me, a bird kind of out there in a little swampy area of a lake, kind of standing on one leg, just, it's a nice clear day. There's a little breeze. There are fish jumping here and there. And we have this beautiful bird in thought, waiting for its lunch. Okay. And it's just a very regal, very stoic, very patient, very thoughtful, very wise and sacred kind of bird. Right. So I feel like this is very much tied to you and how people perceive you. Okay. And I think that you probably are somebody in your life that people look to as a leader. I think maybe you're in some kind of, a management, middle management, upper management, some kind of leadership role in your work life. I think that you probably also are in a leadership role in your household or, in your family. So maybe matriarch, patriarch, at least in your direct family unit. Okay, maybe not of the entire family, but I also think that people will call on you when they need help, when they need, and not just help, but I think when they're looking for advice to kind of sort out a situation. I think that you're very logical. You can have a problem brought to you and you can really think out all of the necessary steps. You are good at identifying variables, potential problems. I think that you're you're the type of person that goes over like the pros and cons of things. I even kind of get the feeling that you are a list maker. I think that you definitely take the time to make little lists and go down them, check them off as you're going through your errands and tasks and, whatever projects you're working on. Okay. And below this bird, I'm kind of seeing, it almost looks like it's holding on to the foot. And it looks like some kind of angel with its wings out. So it makes me think, I want to say it's, you have this protection kind of uplifting you. But I wonder if there's been some loss in your family or in your private life. I don't think that this is an indicator that there will be death coming soon. And honestly, if I saw something like that, I don't think that I would even remark on it. I'm not I'm not really in the habit of, not that I'll skip over news that might be difficult, but when it comes to things like, I think somebody might be having a loss soon or something like that. I personally feel that's not my place to talk about. And I feel like it also initiates this feeling of impending doom. And I think that even if I'm completely off base with it, it sets up this level of conscious energy that sometimes things, they end up the prophecy is fulfilled because there's a lot of energy and thought put into it. Okay. So I just, if you are looking for a reader to tell you things like that, like you're going to get divorced or you're going to have a death or, something like that, this is not me. Okay. But, and if there are other readers that do that, that's fine. I'm not like casting judgment at all. I just am super superstitious about these kinds of things. And, also I just wouldn't want somebody telling me that at all. I don't appreciate that kind of news, So anyways, let me get back on track. I went on a little tangent here. So I think that maybe though there has been loss recently, in the recent past, in the last couple of years at least. So I get this feeling that you've really been leaning on your faith, your connection with the divine, your guardian angel. I feel like you've really spent a lot of time in prayer and thinking about I think being in touch with the spiritual side of yourself. And I think although, of course death is always hard and we go through many steps of grieving and we cycle through those not just once, sometimes it's over and over again. I think that this relationship with your higher spirituality, your higher thinking, your relationship with the universe, all of these kinds of things have really helped you get through. And I think that this is also very much tied into these hearts because I think it has allowed you to, instead of getting kind of sullied by this loss, by, becoming soured to life or pessimistic, you have kind of gone the other way where you are cherishing your days, cherishing relationships, a little more free with loving and kindness and being of service to others and really looking for quality time with those you love and care for. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think, in this relationship, you just really have gotten to know those divine presences in your life. And I think that's fantastic. And it's hard because these kinds of us being delivered to these kinds of relationships with the divine are almost always the outcome of something, some kind of tragedy, some kind of pain, some kind of trauma. And so when I see that kind of part of somebody's personality, I think it's so beautiful because I can relate to it and empathize. But I also know there's a story, a difficult story, almost every time related to somebody like that, and that. So my heart hurts a little bit, but it's also, it's wonderful to meet people, to encounter people who have that kind of deep, deep understanding of themselves and of greater things around them. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and look at this one here. And, let's see if I can get this. Okay. Now, for me, this so much looks like the beginning of a house being built. The foundation is laid and the walls are going up. There's not a roof yet, but look, there's some material right here to go on top. So I feel like, and maybe you're building a house for real, a physical home, but I think that really you are just in this place where you have been working very hard um, to accomplish the goals that you want to. But I also think that you have really applied yourself in your career set, and you just, you're doing well. You're making some kind of living for yourself. I think that you have, and this doesn't necessarily, and I could be mistaken a little, this could be more spiritual, a spiritual home, a spiritual temple. But I also think that you are definitely getting the things that you want and need together, and you are building the life that you want. And I think that is in the spiritual realm for sure because of where this is placed. But I also see it really reflected in your physical life. Okay. And I think this has been list maker, person that is good at planning and figuring out how you're gonna achieve the things you want. Okay. And I think this is very much you, Aquarius. I think that you have these long-term goals and you're very realistic about how to get those, but not only to meet the goals, but how to maintain the things that you have achieved. I don't see you making a little money and going out and buying some, ostentatious car or a house that will be hard to manage or something like that. I don't think that this is you're not this kind of person, right? I think that you probably live within your means and you plan for some kind of thing in the future if the money gets tight or something comes up, which, listen, it does for all of us. So people that are able to plan in that way, I envy that. I try to stay conscious of these things. I don't always win myself, but I think that definitely that is you. And I think that you are getting close to really having most of the things that you want for yourself, you envision for yourself. Okay. And I think that you also have, spent a lot of time getting ready for the long term. And I think that that's wonderful. Okay, so, and then here, we'll just go over to the other side of the cup here. I see, and now this it's a little loosey on the, on how much it looks like a serpent, right? But, and let me explain this just real quickly. I'm not going to go super deep into it, but it makes me think of a worm, but like an earthworm, okay, but also in the posture of a snake. So in the medieval era, a lot of pre-medieval symbols were more worms than snakes. They kind of merged together, and then a lot of things that we see in mythology where it's a serpent as the symbol, at one time, some of those were worms. So this idea of this creature that lives in the dirt really helps uphold the ecosystem without them mulching things, breaking down debris, and fertilizing the soils. They wouldn't be fertile, right? And things wouldn't grow as well. Also, they aerate the dirt and, all these things that we need to happen. They are kind of the quiet heroes of the environment around us. Okay. So this is very much a lowly but divine creature. Okay. And so when I see this, it makes me think again that, that it, you are so much a person in people's life that they just trust. They know that they can go to you. They know that you know how to do things. I think that sometimes you feel overlooked. Sometimes you feel forgotten. Sometimes you maybe even resent a little bit that you do so much for so many people, and you're very thoughtful. You remember names, you remember birthdays, you know, you think about things for other people before they think about them for themselves. They come to you for advice, support, you know, helping with the problem solving, all these things. But you know, you sometimes feel like you get overlooked by people, forgotten, right? And maybe sometimes you feel like you're not the most exciting person. And maybe that's why, whatever it is. You know, I understand those feelings. I think it's, you know, almost kind of like a feeling of blending into the background a little bit. But I think that in reality, you know, outside of your direct perception, I think that you are very loved and very, you know, respected, and there's a sense of stability, continuity, and just, you know, just like you can count on you. Okay. And I think that maybe people don't share with you often or have ever told you how much they appreciate you and need you and care for you. But I think that probably, to some degree, as I said, I get this feeling of like kind of a leader, maybe kind of stoic. I think that maybe people don't know if you would be very receptive to those kinds of gestures of emotion. Okay, or emotional gestures. Let me get my words together. But I think that, you know, I think this is maybe one of those things that you carry with you that is hard for you. And because of your nature, you don't talk about it with people too much, I don't think. I don't think that you like to, you're not a complainer. You're not super overly emotional. And also I get the sense that you have the kind of personality where you know that you have, like, you think, you know, for yourself, and I'm not saying that this is true either, but you tell yourself that you maybe have it easier than some other people, so you shouldn't complain. And you kind of just, you know, pull yourself up and get through it. And I think that maybe to some degree you're looking for something for yourself that feels a little bit more fulfilling. I think maybe even wanting a deeper connection. And I'm looking at I'm trying to decipher what this is here. And I'm seeing kind of these little birds talking to each other, some trees and foliage here. And I get this imagery of, and this is tied back to this kind of other symbol here, is that you want to feel more a part of things than you yourself perceive yourself to be, and take a more active role, I think. And I think that really you just feel like you want to be seen, and that's okay. But I think, you know, and what does my advice mean? I don't know. Just some person on the internet. But, you know, I think that the real thing here is about first, figuring out what exactly you're looking for. Like, what exactly do you think would make you feel more seen? What do you think, what do you need to get out of your interactions with other people that would make you feel more whole, or like it's more worthwhile relationships? That's the first part. But the second part is, I think that we have a tendency to wait for other people to initiate with us. And I think more often than not, it's, you get in a room full of people and everybody is feeling self-conscious. Everybody has their own things going on, their own internal dynamics and lives. And, the older we get too, it's just, I think people just get more, you have a few things going on in your life that are important, and it's hard to get out of, to go out of your comfort zone. So I think if this is really a thing that is important to you, that you find your people, you find something that, some kind of fan group, or you're into a certain kind of TV show or kind of literature, or, whatever, video game or whatever it is. And I'm just trying to think of examples briefly. But finding a group of people that have the same interests, right? And then kind of, if you have a little free time, immersing yourself in those places and start conversations. Go online, start some of that. If you live in a city, I'm sure now that we're getting, back to normal a little bit with interactions in person, that you go to some events, meetups. Do they still have that website, meetup.com or whatever? That used to be the thing back in the day, and I'm probably, aging myself, but, that's how you met people that wanted to role play, or, I don't know, whatever, to go to a gathering for a solstice, ritual or something like that. Whatever it is, a dinner. The thing that I remember last time I was looking up this is years ago, was I lived in Minneapolis, and I was looking into going to dinner clubs and meeting people at these dinner meetups and stuff. And that just, you got to look for things that are within the realm of your comfort zone, but maybe a little bit out of it. And you might end up meeting some people, forming some friendships, relationships that, might mean something. And, the other thing to keep in mind, and we all, I think, on some level, struggle these days with learning how to make friends, is that, everybody is online and everybody is in screens, and, there's so many, there's just so many of the places that we actually interact with people are professional settings, or, settings where, and rightfully so, we have to conduct ourselves in ways that sometimes it's hard to get to know people. And, that's a good thing, that people are safe. But, we also, you have to figure out, unless you're extremely good at socializing and, very, just proficient in that certain kind of language of life, it can be difficult to figure out how to get to know people. I can't even think of, well, now that I have a kid, I've met more people because of being a mom. You just meet a lot of people through parenting and stuff. But aside from that, I can't remember the last time I met somebody just in the wild. It's always been online. So that's how I make my friendships. And I think a lot of us are like that. So I think that for you, and I feel like you have these loves, you have this love, you have a lot of love. And I feel like you probably even have a relationship. Okay. And I don't know that, maybe you're a single person, maybe not. I don't know. But I feel like you have some kind of romantic relationship just based on that big heart we saw at first. But I think that more so than that, you just need, I feel this desire for people, you want people to interact with you in a different way than they do. Okay, I feel almost like you are stuck in that kind of people seeing you as like a parental kind of, like a proxy parental figure, or like in like some kind of boss or management or whatever. Something like that where people are friendly with you to some degree, but they rely on you because they trust you and you show up, right? And you know how to do things. But I feel like you have trouble trying to get past that to make meaningful friendships. Okay. And so, like I said, I think a lot of this has to do with like kind of just going out of your comfort zone, and also just really spending some honest time with yourself, identifying what are you exactly looking for and what are you willing to, what are you willing to do? Like I said, go to some clubs or go, whatever, find some like-minded groups of people or whatever it is. How much time, energy, effort are you willing to put in to accomplish these kinds of, new friendships or, okay. And I just want to see. And so I'm looking at this and I'm seeing almost this kind of interesting face where I feel like there's just a tinge of melancholy, but at the same time, I feel like almost this like imagery of like a lot of floral, kind of like almost starry eyes. I think you have this amazing ability to be very dreamy and in love with life and the world and people, but I feel like there's also a sense of melancholy because I think it's hard for you, and ties into what we've been talking about. It's hard for you to get outside of yourself. I think that, I wonder if you aren't meant to do maybe some kind of like artwork or some kind of projects where you can get to know people, but through a project that kind of like it allows you to like interviewing people or documenting like the stories of your neighborhood or your family members, or where you can sit and have really deep, meaningful conversations with people, but it's kind of formal, not super formal, but enough that you feel comfortable being able to navigate through it because there's like kind of there's a framework and a plan, and there are certain boundaries and kind of, an agreed upon nature of how you communicate with one another. But at the same time, it leaves you room to be close with somebody, to understand somebody, for them to talk to you and to understand you. So I think this would be interesting. Maybe, seeking some kind of creative project where it creates an environment and a mission for you to come together with other people. Okay. And I think that would be really cool and really interesting. So so that's Aquarius. I think that's really the reading for me today for you. And I really, it's not a sad reading. I think it's, I think this is a really common kind of feeling people have. I think that you're not alone at all. And I think that there's just like this whole world of potential. And I see with this Two of Wands, you just have so much of this desire to do these things, and you're so capable that it's just a matter of figuring out exactly how you're going to do it and deciding on that and going forward with it. And I think that will come to you. And I think that right now this has been on your mind a lot. And I really think that these things are going to start to happen soon, in the next couple months. Okay. So, I'm really happy for you. I feel like this is a positive reading, right? So, if you would be so kind as to like the video if this resonated with you, or if you just like listening to it, even if not all of the parts spoke to you. Also, going ahead and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and leaving me a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if this is resonating with you. Let me know what kinds of sign symbols and stories you're seeing in the cup. If I have missed anything, I'd love to see and hear what your perception is. Okay. I think it's always fun to see how through other people's eyes. And that actually helps me, open my mind a little bit and helps me do better readings. So, other than that, you can find me on Facebook. My page on there is Ula Tea Leaf Readings. And on Instagram, Ula of the Tea. If you're interested in a private reading, you can go in the description and there's information about how to book one of those. And other than that, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. I appreciate the time that you spend with me. I'm always so honored to do these readings. And I honestly look forward to being able to sit down and do them. So thank you so much. I hope to see you again in a few days. You can also check out your other sign placements. So your solar, lunar, or ascendant/rising. Go ahead and watch those other videos, and it will give you a more dynamic understanding of what's going on with you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.